I had my mic muted. I usually let it sit there for a little bit longer, but I'm too excited. So, a couple things first. One, this is streaming to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. It's my first time trying this. I tried it yesterday with Ivory's YouTube video review, and I did not have my YouTube thing turned on. I just had all the settings in there. So, I do have my chat on here to where I can read both YouTube or Twitch, depending on who says what where. But I will be able to see all of it. I'm actually gonna like turn this camera just a little bit. Is that better? That's better. Yeah, okay. So we are doing something a little different today. I might edit in a little bit, but right now we have an unboxing to do. I bought another camera. We're still streaming on my Nikon Z7 II, and this is the last time this will be my main streaming camera. After today, this will no longer be the primary camera that we use. We'll still use this camera for... Sorry. We'll still use this camera for our studio shoots, but now we'll be able to have a wide angle shot kind of showing the whole setup and not have a lot of jerking and moving around. And then we'll have this camera that will show actually what we're taking pictures of, things like that. So we got the Nikon ZFC. And the reason that we got this camera is whenever you see it, you'll know why we got this camera. I'm gonna I wish I could set it right here next to me. So I am doing photos for my sister's wedding in April. And she sent me a text asking if I could do video too because her videographer had to back out. He wasn't able to get over there to the wedding. So I told her that unfortunately I don't have a second camera anymore. I sold my GH5. And said, I would have to buy a second camera to do it. And she said that's fine, to let her know how much it is and everything like that. So this is what I chose. Nikon ZFC. And like I said, it will be the primary. I wish I had something to set it on. How far up does it need to go? Just a little bit. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that right there. And then there we go. Just while I'm talking about it. So I want to I think that's better. So she told me, let me know how much it is, things like that, if it allowed me to shoot the video and the photography. So I have a Nikon Z7 II. That's what this is on right now. And I wanted to stick with Nikon because my Z-mount lenses and my F-to-Z adapter, this camera would allow me to use it. This is a crop sensor. It's not a full frame. I also wanted to get something a little bit lighter, things like that. So let's open it up. Let's get into it because this thing looks beautiful. Hang on, I'm gonna check something real quick. I'm gonna actually do something real quick. I'll be right back. I wanted to pull my focus a little bit more forward, so that way it gets the box in view. Or get the box in focus is what I mean. I'm okay with me being a little out of focus, so that we can get that. I'm going to kind of let this sit here for just a little bit. I was gonna check something real quick. Ooh, excuse me. Hang on, I'm gonna check something too. Okay, I was just checking the music to make sure it was loud enough. That's right. I was going to make a post real quick. Okay, I was just checking the music to make sure it was loud enough. I was just making sure that some stuff got posted on Discord. I'm a part of a couple different communities, and I just wanted to make sure that I made a post on there about them. Okay, so again, we are going to do the unboxing for this Nikon ZFC. I actually bought it locally. B&H was out of a lot of them. I think the kits they're out of. This is just the body. I've got lenses for it. The lenses, the mount is the same as my Z7 II, so I already had lenses for it. And I'm going to probably get a couple more lenses at some point. I want like a 50mm prime for doing portraits. And then I might need to get a different wide angle lens because I think the first lens that's going to go on this is actually my 28 to 300mm, which is going to be fun on this tiny little body. These are kind of hard to come by right now. I was lucky that I found one locally. I was talking to the guy in there and even mentioned how hard it was to find this, and they've only got a couple left. They've been selling out of them like crazy. So I was really, really happy. I called them, made sure that they had it, and everything like that. But yeah, I am very excited. This thing is a beauty. I did take a peek at it. It's gorgeous. So if you guys don't know what this camera looks like, it's a mirrorless digital version of the older Nikon film cameras, and it really, really shows. They nailed the design on this one. It's so beautiful. So let's go on ahead and open this up. Manuals, warranty information, because I got the 3-year warranty on it. And in the box, pick it up and show it. We have got the strap, comes with every single camera, battery charger. It does use a different battery than the Z7 II, which I expected, I knew that. It's a lot smaller, actually. So this is actually the battery that goes in the ZFC, and this is a battery from the Z7 II. So not much bigger, different shaped. This one's got some roundness to it, as you can see, and this one's just like a square block. Let me turn it over. There you go. So that's the difference in batteries. This one's dead. The one that's in it actually has some charge to it. So put this box down here. And I went and I picked this up today. So if you've never seen this camera, oop, that's backwards. I'm gonna redo that. I'm gonna redo that. That was a horrible reveal. That was a horrible thing. Okay, here's the front. So if you've never seen this camera, I think a package is being delivered. That's what that knock was. I'm gonna make sure. Is a mirrorless, a digital mirrorless take on hand. It is the digital mirrorless take on the, I'm still like almost peeking. I think that's a little bit better. Okay, so here is the Nikon ZFC. Hold it back closer to my face. There we go. It looks like the classic film camera. And if you look at the top, that's all your dials. Let me go back a little bit further. Turn it better. There we go. So like on the top here is where you actually, dude, what is up with my mic? Why is it doing that? Is that better? That's a little better. I think that's a little bit better. Okay. So on the top here's your wheels, and that's actually how you set your shutter speed. I'm sorry, your ISO is on this side, and your shutter speed is right here. So you don't control them with the wheels, and the only thing that you control with the wheels on the front and the back are your f-stop. And you've got your EV comp right there. You got your on switch right here. Look at this shutter button. I love this little shutter button right here, like the film cameras. You've got your manual, aperture priority, shutter priority. You've got all those right there. And they're super easy to switch. You just kind of scroll through it. You never put it on auto. That's a wrong thing to do. You can lock the wheels. Whenever you push down the button and turn it, that's how you lock it to make sure. It's even got like bulb mode and everything. You have to push down to lock that out. And then on the back here is where you've got from camera to video. I don't know if you can see that tiny thing right there. I'm gonna pull it up on the computer, like B&H and stuff. And we'll like look at some other photos and talk about the specs and stuff. Has a flip out, completely turnable screen, articulate screen, so that way you can turn it around and face the other way. Yeah, you can change your color profile, everything like that. It's only got one memory card slot. That's okay because I believe I've got a 64 gig memory card for it. That'll be plenty. There was one thing that I had asked the guy at Mike's Camera, which is the local camera store in the Denver area. And that's where I got it. Okay, so you cannot record N-Log on this to like the Atomos Ninja 5. I did have that question, and he was not sure on that. You do have this function button up here, which allows you to change your white balance. Just like on most of the Nikon mirrorless, that is there. Change your display just like the Z7 II. You can connect it to... you can connect it to the computer. So we are going to be using this. This is going to be what we mainly use for the webcam and wide angle shots. This is us giving our secondary camera, things like that. Also for anytime that we go hiking to different areas and I want something that's going to be a little bit lighter than the Z7 II, this is what we're taking. And I went with this one over the Z50 because while the Z50 you can stream with, because of the I'm gonna like scoot my chair just a little bit further forward just so that way I'm more in focus whenever I'm talking. You can stream with the Z50. You can use the webcam utility with the Z50. However, if you plug it in, it doesn't charge it. So this actually, whenever you plug it in either to a computer or just to an outlet through your micro, the USB-C right there, it will charge the camera as well, just like the Z7 II. The Z50 wouldn't do that. So that's another reason why I went with this camera, not the Z50. USB power delivery is what they call it. Now, do the full sensor, image quality. We're going to shoot RAW, always. 14-bit recording. Let's see here. Set picture control. It's on auto. I am going to put it on vivid for right now. Whenever I'm actually shooting or videoing, anything like that, we'll use flat. And I'm actually going to load another profile into this that'll get it pretty close to log. Not quite log, but it'll get it pretty close. Yeah, like you can save and edit, and you can upload customs on here. I'm going to have to go through and like set everything, set all the shutters. That's cool. So on the focus area mode, you can actually change it to where it prefers... Oop. Come on. You can actually put on there whether it's going to prioritize people or animals, and I actually really, really like that on this camera. I need to see if the Z7 II's got that. You've got HDR, which I do like that you've got HDR on here. You've got time-lapse video, interval timer shooting, all of that stuff. You got the silent photography. On the video side, we're going to change it to shooting... we'll leave it on 1080 60 frames per second right now. Video quality high. I'm good with MOV as the file type. Set picture control. I'm going to go ahead and put that on vivid or neutral. Whenever I hook it up to the computer and start using this thing as the webcam, I'm going to go through and change some of the settings. Full-time focus. And you've got a huge array of focusing options on here. All right, so I'm going to show you guys the back of this camera and what it looks like. It looks just like the film camera that I used in high school. I used my dad's old Nikon film camera in high school. This looks a lot like it. Looks very, very similar to that camera that I had used. So what I think I'm going to actually do, first off, I'm going to turn this off. Throw this 64 megabyte memory card in there. And format it. Always format your cards after you have put them on your computer. Melissa's dad actually, he came with us whenever we moved to Colorado, and he brought his Canon with him. And we were sitting there one night, and he was kind of going through the settings. This was like his last day here. He was going through the settings, looking through photos and stuff like that. And he was going through, and he was like, format memory card. And he clicked it, and I was like, no, don't do that, don't do that. And he just stared at his camera, and he goes, what did I just do? And I said, you just deleted all of your photos from this trip because you formatted your memory card. And he was not happy. He admitted, he's like, that's my own fault. I shouldn't have clicked something. I didn't know what it was, but that was so bad. All right, so I'm going to throw this Viltrox lens on here, this 85mm Viltrox lens. Z-mount native lens. This is a crop sensor, so you're going to have it's not going to be, 85mm anymore. It's a 1.6 or a 1.5 millimeter or a 1.5 crop sensor, so it's going to make an 85. Let me see if I can do the math quickly. About 120, 130, kind of close to that. So that's going to be kind of crazy for this first lens going on here, but ooh, look at that sensor. Look at that sensor. There we go. Yeah, that's that is pretty close. I think that's a little bit closer than what I can focus on at the moment with this lens. Yeah, okay, so that changes your f-stop. This back button, this back one doesn't do anything since your controls are up top. It doesn't really do anything. It's not autofocus area. That's your lens release. While it is very similar to the oh, there we go. There we go. While it is very similar to the Z7 and some of the buttons, some of them are completely different. So the Z7 II actually has two of these function buttons. There we go. Two of these function buttons on it on the front. One controls your focus mode and one controls your white balance. I'm kind of surprised actually with how this thing is handling some of this lower light. I mean, that's ISO 400. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Like on the monitor, it's got a pretty good. Yeah, that actually looks really good. I like this eye hole. I like how it's circular. And like I said, this is going to be the main. This is going to be the main stream camera. I'll have to put that lens that's on the Nikon on this camera, which is going to make it look insanely huge. So that is how this looks. I love the look of it. I love the retro look of this camera. To me, it looks so good. That's such a nice looking camera. Even with the Viltrox lens on it, that's so good. That's such a nice looking camera. the autofocus is actually doing pretty well. Huh. Yeah, I can't wait to see what this thing can do as far as its abilities in video. This is going to be very nice. I love the look of that. That's such a nice looking camera. That's such a cool looking camera. Okay, so let me do this real quick. Now, I am going to do something different. I'm going to do something else. And just for kicks and giggles, we're gonna see how this looks on here. So I'm going to take this lens and pop it down here. And I'm going to put the sensor cover back on here. And we're going to put this thing on it. This is my 200 to 500 millimeter beast of a lens, f5.6. And with this thing being a crop sensor, it'll take it up by 500 millimeters on this lens. This will be 750 millimeters on this camera. That's insane, and I cannot wait to take this thing out. Oh wait, I've got to put the adapter on it, and I can't do that right now. So I've got the F to Z adapter on my Z7 II, and I have to have that to put this lens on there. So I'll have to do it a different time. But I will definitely do it and upload a photo of this thing to my Instagram, because this is going to be hilarious to see this massive of a lens on this smaller camera. It already looks massive on the Z7 II. I can't imagine what it's going to look like on this thing. That's going to be insane to see. It's almost going to be like comedial to see. Okay, so I'm going to do this, make it look nice and pretty. I know this is a lot, just bear with me. I'm going to put that right there. And we're going to put this right there. There we go. Okay. And then we are going to swap over to this right here. And I'm actually going to... I've got so much stuff on my desk right now. Do this. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Slide over just a little bit. Okay. So here on B&H is, I think they've only got one of these things in stock. But also, why wait? Want it Tuesday on the 2/15th, or I can get it now. That's why I got it today. So here is the ZFC. Again, like I was telling you, that's how the dials look up top. You've got your ISO and your shutter speed. It does skip some shutter speeds. Like you don't have a 50. It goes from 15 to 30 to 60. You don't have a 50, a 1/50. And that's what your EV comp is really going to come in handy for. Got the fully articulating screen. That's the kit lens that you can get with it. Like I said, I got the body only because I already have lenses. I had really no need. I think it comes with like a 16 to 50 or the 28 millimeter lens. The 28 millimeter lens is so small. I saw it in the store today. Where's the side view? Yeah, like it's so short. And then, I mean, both of them are really short. I do like that kind of silver lens though. That's interesting. Okay. I didn't get a camera bag or anything with it because, I've already got plenty of camera bags and storage. And the guy was going through it. He he was like, do you have memory cards? I was like, yeah, I got memory cards. Do you have a lens cleaning kit? I was like, yeah, I got a lens cleaning kit. Do you have this? Do you have that? Like all of this stuff. And every single time I was like, yep, I got that. Yep, I got that. Yep, already got that. Already got that. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he finally was like, do you already have a Z camera? And I was like, yeah, I got a Z7 too. He was like, oh, well then, yeah, that's a lot. That is the F to Z adapter that is on the Z7 II that I cannot wait to throw this on this thing. It's going to be so cool. There you go. There's a close-up of the ISO knob. And I actually wonder... Okay, yeah. So I can go like 100, 150, or like... There's 2 notches in between 200 too. So that's really where you're going to get your control for the lack of shutter speed options. Which is, I like that. I like that they do give you a way to do it. This camera is in auto mode, and as everybody knows, that's a sin. You don't do that. Alright, so let's get into that. Why would you upload that photo? This is pretty funny. This is pretty good. This is pretty funny. Okay. Alright, so let's get into the specs of it. So it is I'm going to call it a 20 megapixel camera, 21 megapixel camera. The Nikon Z7 II I think is like 45. So, I mean, that's less than half. But honestly, if you're shooting a video, which is what this will be doing at my sister's wedding, you almost want that lower megapixel sensor, because that means that each pixel will be bigger and it will absorb more light for video. It is the APS-C. I always say ACPS. I always, say all those out of order. So it's got a 1.5 crop sensor, or 1.5 crop factor. So yeah, that 500 millimeter lens will be actually a 750, which is insane to think about. Shutter speeds 1/4000 to 30 seconds for the curtain, or 1/4000 to 900. It does have a bulb mode. It has a time mode. You can extend it. That's interesting. I know that's going to be your native. That's interesting on your ISO. And that's interesting that in video you can only go up to 25/600. I mean, honestly, I would never go that high on my ISO. I would never do that on my ISO. Center weighted matrix spot on your metering, aperture manual program shutter, exposure comp, yep, metering range, that's pretty good. Continuous shooting, 11 frames per second at the full 21 megapixels, which is pretty good burst mode. For image size, I'll be running the 3x2 and then change it in post if I want to. I think I run a 4x3 on my Nikon to get the full sensor size. Does shoot JPEG and RAW, does have 14-bit. Does shoot 4K at 30 frames per second and shoots HD at up to 120 frames per second. So with this, I'll honestly probably just be doing 4K at 30 or 24, 23.98. Whenever we're at the wedding. And then if I want anything slower 4K, I'll just shoot it with the Z7 II. Stereo mic. I will be running a mic on top of this. And we're going to talk in just a second about how we'll be streaming with both cameras. Because if you didn't know, Nikon's webcam utility software only can support one camera at a time. I emailed Nikon and that's what they told me. External recording modes on HDMI. 4K at 25 frames per second, 24 frames per second, and then full HD up to 60 frames per second, 59.94. So I might be using the Atomos with this. I don't know if I will be using the Atomos with this camera at the wedding. I got the Atomos Ninja 5 to work with the Z7 II to do in-log ProRes, and I'm not going to do that for this wedding. That's going to be way overkill for this wedding. So I can output record to the Atomos with this, I've also got a Field World external monitor that I can run with this. I do need to get some new micro HDMI. So this is the one thing that I'm not too keen on with what Nikon's doing. They're using the micro HDMI cords instead of the full. So currently I have one micro HDMI cord to run to the Atomos or to the Field World. Scoot that over just a little bit. There we go. That looks good. So I've got two external monitors to use, but I've got to get another cord for it, which I have to get another cord anyway to do the two camera streaming to swap back and forth. Memory card, single slot, SD. I put a 64 gig in there. It's got the micro HDMI. It's got a 3.5 millimeter, which I've got a wireless system actually, and so I've got a wireless system that I can plug in. I've also got Deity, a D3, and a D4 Duo, and I want to replace my my wireless system with Deity's wireless system, but I want to sell my own wireless system first. USB Type-C. And right there, with power input. You cannot do power input on the Z50, which is why I went with this one. You do have Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. You cannot do GPS on here. You can on the Z7 II. So I've got the app that I use my Z7 II with to control it. It's the same exact app. I think it's called SnapBridge. I've got that on my phone and on the iPad. Resolution on the monitor. Free angle tilting LCD screen, which I love. Oh, and it is touch screen, which I do like that too. That's the viewfinder. Sorry about that. Auto manual, automatic, continuous servo, all that kind of stuff. Phase detection 209, autofocus sensitivity negative 4.5 all the way up to plus 19. My flash will sync with this one in case I want to use the flash with this. I don't think I will. It does have a 1/4 inch, which, yeah, that's kind of all of them have them. The body doesn't even weigh a pound. This thing weighs less than a pound on the body, which is amazing. So yeah, that's kind of the specs overview. And like I said, the reason that I went with this one is so that way we've got two cameras. So whenever we are doing studio shoots, we will have. I'm not sure how we're going to do the screen yet. I'm not sure if we're going to have this be. I'm not sure if we're going to have this camera take up like 2/3 and the Nikon take up 1/3, or the Z7 II take up 1/3. They're both Nikons. I can't just call them Nikons. Or if we're going to do this camera taking up half, that camera taking up half, or this camera taking up 3/4 and that having a 1/4. I do want to make the Z7 II, whenever we're taking photos, bigger than I am right now, but we'll have to figure out a layout to work with that. But that'll be a lot better, because last time, whenever I was swapping lenses or stuff like that, hang on. Whenever I was swapping lenses, or if I was moving the camera around too much, trying to like move the tripod or something, I would just have to go to a blank screen. I would basically just have to go. That screen right there is basically what I'd have to go to. So if we are running both cameras and this is a bigger this is a bigger part of the screen, then I'll be okay with not having to, jump back and forth with that. Which that would be really good. That'd make it a whole lot easier. Okay, so we are going to look at some lenses real quick for this camera. I've looked at the full frame lenses on the Z mount. I haven't looked a ton at the this one specifically for APS-C. I know that both will work, but if there's like a decent wider angle lens for this one that I don't need the adapter for, then I'd probably do something with it. It's a 7.5 millimeter. Good God. I mean, I do like my current Viltrox, the 85 millimeter. So just like that right there, may be perfect for putting on this, for doing streams. I mean, that's 1.5. So you're looking at, that's about 33, 34 millimeters. Which right now I think this camera's on 30 millimeters, so I could just scoot it back a little bit and be fine with that. That's only $300. That's not too bad. I wonder though, was that all of them on this page? Man, why am I yawning so much? I would want it to have autofocus capability, so all of these that I'm just scrolling past wouldn't be worth it. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go look at the full frame Z-mount lenses, because the full frame will fit on this camera. Oh yeah, let's just get the 100 to 400. Jesus Christ, that's insane. That's a 28 millimeter. I was actually looking at getting this lens for my Z7 II, this 50 millimeter, for another portrait lens. Because I was looking at this one and the Viltrox, and the Viltrox does not have good reviews. Yeah, somebody want to buy me this lens? That'd be insane. That's a 20 millimeter. That's a 40. Dude, the Viltrox 35 has got, I mean, it's only got 4 reviews. From what I've heard, that 35 millimeter is actually a pretty good one. It's the 50 millimeter that's got a problem with focusing. That's the lens that I currently have. That lens is this lens. And I love this one so far. We did a shoot, a portrait photo shoot, where we covered Melissa in paint. That's actually what this photo is from. And that was with that lens. And I'm very, very happy with it. Very happy with it. And the 24 millimeters got pretty good. So that one would fit on this, but it would be closer to a 35 millimeter. But I would also be able to use it on the Z7 II. I don't think I can use an APS-C on. I don't think I can use a crop sensor lens on the full frame, but I can do the back. I can do it backwards. Ah, the batteries are charged. Okay. I was like, what the hell is that sound? And I really wouldn't want to use something that's only manual focus. I would want to use something that can do autofocus. I do know that for right now, though, that what I've got on the Nikon, which is a 15 to 30 Tamron, I believe it is. Yeah, a Tamron is what's going to go on this whenever I'm streaming. And then my Z7 II will be like back here on a shelf or something, you know? Gotta make the background look good. These velvet lens baby lenses have always intrigued me. Having like a built-on effect that you can't really get rid of. Same thing with this Burnside. They've intrigued me. It's 85 millimeter. That silver lens would look really pretty on this camera, though. That's risky. I should not have done that. It's an 11 millimeter, which would be 16, 17 millimeters. If I did not like that Viltrox lens, I was going to get the Nikkor. Oh, you know what I might do, though? If I'm only going to be using it for, like, video, and I really don't need too much, let's look at some used ones. Okay. That's a crop lens. See, like, I could get like this 16 millimeter lens, this little pancake lens, 16 millimeter lens for $260. If that's all that I need for filming, then for streaming, then great. See, here's the Viltrox 56 millimeter lens that people have said have some issues. I got a 33 millimeter. I would need to go wider than that. See where I could get this 24 to 50. I mean, I'm not against having something that's manual focus. Like, I could spend $200 on this lens and be fine with it, and just set something up to set my focal point, and then take that down and sit down and be good with it. We'll see. We'll see what I decide to do. Close that out. Just click back until I get back to that page with the camera on it. How many more? There we go. Okay. So, the way that we are going to get around Nikon's webcam utility only accepting one camera is that we are going to use capture card. So they had this capture card, and the reason that I went with this one, I think I spent like $80 on it, which isn't that bad. Yeah. So the reason that I went with this one is because it can accept another mic. Now, this is not an XLR mic or anything like that. It'll accept a 3.5 millimeter jack mic. But whenever we're doing our shoots, it will allow us to not have to rely on a condenser mic. It will allow us to use like the D3 or the D4 Duo and set it up almost in between us to catch Melissa's audio and my audio pretty well. Run it through this, and then run this back into the computer and capture what is coming off of one of these cameras. I think this one will be the one hooked up using the webcam utility software, and that one will capture. Because if we capture it, I might be able to hit the play button and show you guys what we're seeing and how we're doing our light and things like that. So I went ahead and got that as well, so that way we can do that. Also, if I do want to stream games at some point, I don't think I will. That's not very likely for me to do. At this point in time, it's not very likely for me to do. But if I decide to, then I can use this to capture the game and then use the webcam software to capture the Me Cam. I'm going to take a sip. I'm actually going to go full screen. Come on. Oh, there we go. So, better view. Here's the capture card. Right here. There we go. So there's the capture card. And it is the IKAN home stream. And this will, this will capture 4K, I believe, 4K at 60. But I really, really got it for the mic input. So that way we can run mics. So that way next time we stream, hopefully, which I think will be tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. I've got a lot of houses to do tomorrow, and I don't think I'll be getting back until late. And if we do it, it's going to be just like editing. I don't really think it's going to be any more than just some editing. But we would be doing it coming off of this camera. Melissa and I are planning our next paint shoot. I think it's going to be this coming week. Today's Friday. So it's going to be this coming week, one night after she gets off work. We've already got our theme. We've already got exactly what we want to do. So I think the streams between then and now are going to be ironing all those details out, figuring out how to make sure that we stream off of this, getting the audio down, stuff like that. And I've got to set all of that stuff up. I'm going to... Sorry, I'm distracted by new toys. That's not the top of it. Where's it at? I don't know why I can't figure out where the top or the bottom is. I thought I had it. There we go. I do have it. So we will be spending time figuring out. I'm going to move that back and plug this in right there. So we'll be spending the time between now and then figuring it out, figuring out exactly how we want to stream it, figuring out which mic would be better, the D4 or the D3. Figuring out some settings on that, see if I need to do some compressor filters, some stuff like that, some voice channels, some high pass on that, on the mic running through this, see how it sounds, do some recordings, and just test and see how it all works, see how it all sounds, see how it all looks, all of that kind of stuff. We're going to be doing all of that over the next few days to get ready for the next photo stream. I also did figure out how to do the Pocket 2. So the next time that I go to Arsenal, which will be soon, that actually might be something that I do Saturday. I think I've only got a couple houses Saturday. I'd rather do it on a weekday, less people. Maybe I'll do that Monday. Maybe that'll be my stream Monday. Depending on, I'll choose like the least busy day that I have. As far as houses go, and we'll probably do that and just try that. Take this thing out, take some photos with it, put the Atomos on the Nikon, on the Z7 II, and try and get some beautiful in-log footage to edit on stream. That would be really good. I'd really enjoy that. I was trying to see. Yeah, that's all I bought. This is just like information that they gave me on it. I'm going to keep my receipt for it. And then they gave me this nice bag right here. You know, reusable bag, Mike's camera. They've got Northern California and Colorado locations, and that's it. But I was trying to think if there's anything else that I was going to do. Was there? Was that all that I was going to stream? Was unboxing this thing? I think so. I've got a lot to play with. I've got to start playing with it and see how it looks and everything. I've got to get, like I said, another HDMI cord. And figure out how this thing works. Let me see here. Max input resolution is 4K 30. Max output is 1080. So that's fine. Supports 10-bit. That's good. It also supports a loop out, which is good too. Supports simultaneous HDMI and microphone audio capture, which is great. So I'll have to HDMI into camera, USB cable, male to male, stereo out, and then connect the HDMI cable from signal source to HDMI input, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I've got to get a longer mini cable to go into this, because the only one that I've got right now is like this long, and it's just because of running it to the external monitor. So I'll probably have to go by Best Buy tomorrow. Okay. So that'll be good. We'll start doing that tomorrow. We'll have access to 2 different camera angles. Whenever we're not doing a photo stream or a photo shoot stream, I may have like the Z7 II set up somewhere back here, and then that camera set up here, just to switch it up, just to have a different angle, just to do some different things. Oh man. Oh, you know what I might do? I might edit just a couple photos, or at least one photo, real quick, because I need a photo to post tomorrow, because I've been trying to keep up with my postings. Boom, 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 boom. Nope, come on. This is a photo that we edited last stream. Right here. This is a photo that we edited last stream. I wonder... Okay. So, let's go to import. And I need to do... Arsenal. I don't know if I edited any of this guy. The elk photos were so beautiful. It was so nice. Those elk photos are really pretty. Did I edit those before I got a new computer? Yes, I did. Okay. I'm gonna turn that just a little bit, because I'm getting a little bit of a reflection on my monitor. Okay. Let's do this one. Just because it's got all of the deer in it. It's weird. I'm used to this being on this monitor, but I swapped them. To make it a little bit easier. On me. Okay, so we're gonna go to flat. And I really I made the last one nice and cool, and I want to stick with that. And I added some haze to it. And we're going to drop the exposure. 3. And the reason that I swapped them, the reason that I've got my editing over here now, is because this monitor shows a truer color than this one. So whenever I would export things, everything that I had that I was exporting was not the right white balance, or too yellow or too blue, because this monitor was off. So that's actually why I did that, even though this is a smaller monitor. That's what it was. Okay. But on the highlights, I did give it a little yellow. I think on the shadow, I don't know what that is.
Maybe it's my thing that they said they lost.
Do what?
I ordered that charge station.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then I got a message that like something's wrong with your package tracking info. We're gonna try to get it back on track.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yep.
Kind of cool it down since it was snowy on this day. It was very cold out there this day. I think it was in the 20s. And we actually streamed this whole shoot. We didn't have the Pocket figured out yet, the Pocket 2. So we actually had to we just used our phone, but now that we've got the Pocket 2 figured out, it'll be a lot better. I do want to add some of that yellow in there though. These guys were just laying there. It was so cool seeing them just lay there. Covered in snow up top. I can't wait to be able to hook the 200 to 500 millimeter lens up to this thing. That's going to be insane. That'll be a 750 millimeter lens, which is insane to me. Actually, have to black this a little more. Do a linear gradient. I want to just increase the whites on this snow a little bit. And actually drop texture and drop the clarity a little bit. Create a new mask, and we're going to do another linear gradient from the top. And actually angle it like that, and I want to darken that a little bit, not a ton. I've really become like a sucker of a progression of light recently, like going from lighter to mid to darker. I've been doing that a lot recently. I think it had a lot to do with where we were shooting too. Like on the glacier and stuff. And we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do radial. Right in here. And we're going to actually I'm going to up texture in here just a little bit. And I think that I really want to cool it off, warm that section up just a little bit. Not a tad, or not too much, just a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. I might actually lighten this foreground one a little bit more and rotate it just a little bit, just like that. Okay. Oh, no, right there. Okay, I really like that. Cool it down just a little bit more. Okay. And I clicked the wrong thing. Okay. Always change the image size to 300 dpi. I know that's more of a publication thing, but I've had to like go back and re-edit stuff that was meant for publication because I did not do it in 300 dpi whenever I first did it. So now I've like got it ingrained into me to do that. Okay, we're going to do Control J to make a copy. Do a high pass filter. We're not doing it on 24. That was from smoothing skin. Looks good. Overlay that on top. And that's all that I'm going to do to this one. Actually, I'm going to take this black spot out. I don't know what that is. Oop. Ugh. There we go. Take this out just because I don't like that. I don't even know what that is, but we're just going to take it out. Big ol' buddy. Big ol' buddy. Okay. Alright, that's what I'm going to be posting tomorrow, and then I already have a photo to post on my portrait account. I've actually got to go back and redo all of my like waiting screens and stuff like that. I've got to make an end screen. I've got to do some stuff, and I'm hoping that, so Sunday I'll be off and Melissa works, and I'm hoping that Sunday I can sit down and remake most of this stuff and figure out a lot of this. I'm hoping that's what I can do on Sunday. Make like an ending screen and stuff, because this as an ending screen is all right. All right, well, I hope that if you watched live, you enjoyed it. If you're watching on archives, you enjoyed it. This is my new camera. I love it already. I can't wait to I'm going to take some photos of it. with the Z7 II. I want to put that ridiculously huge lens on there just for kicks and giggles. And then I'm going to be doing a review of this later on, probably after the wedding, so probably like 2 months. I'll be doing a review on this thing and comparing it to the Z7 II, comparing it to my old GH5, mainly doing that. But yeah, so if you enjoyed it, drop a like, drop a follow, subscribe, because since this is also on YouTube, and we'll be doing some more tomorrow. Now I'll be streaming to Twitch and YouTube at the same time every single time. So that'll be good. And that'll also kind of help me keep my YouTube schedule up to date. I've got to edit some other stuff. But yeah. So if you enjoyed it, do all those things that I just said. Hopefully the streaming will get a little bit more streamlined and get a little bit more clean in the following days after I'm able to do some stuff. And hopefully this will be the last time that we see the Z7 II as the main camera. And next time this will take its place.